Welcome to HDPP Live on a Saturday night to the UK and around the world with photos, memories and friends. This is HDPP Live. How are you this evening? Are you all well?
Hinckley District has the present for you, meeting friends old and new. Streaming Wednesdays and Saturdays too, with founder members Paul and Sue. The smiles that we bring are a heritage thing. HDPP, keeping history alive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Where the memories survive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Film clips, photos, memories and friends helps a dreary night go by. Wearing Hinckley's 6 of the best, stupendous quizzical high. The smiles that we bring are a heritage thing. HDPP, keeping history alive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Where local memories survive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Let's take you back in time. A community of men will take you for a ride. Handsome's cab will take you there. We're making history. HDPP, chat room applauses. History supporting local causes. Streaming HDPP live. Betty is our queen bee. Sweet as honey candy. Dangerous Den here again. HDPP live. Hey, you know we keep it HDPP.
Oh, they're good. Welcome. Come along, come on in. Blimey, it's cold outside. Snowing in Hinckley, as you can see from behind me. My word. Throwing it down with snow. As if. Welcome. Welcome to HDPP Live on this Sunday evening. And already plenty of people in the chat room are slightly shorter than normal live stream tonight because I must be honest, I would have loved to watch the football, but my public awaits. So we're still doing all the regular things, but like I said, probably slightly shorter. That is not my clock striking. That is your likes coming in for our programme this evening. Lovely. So keep those likes coming, please, because it helps with the antibiotics and all that sort of thing. And already, like I say, plenty of people in the chat room. We've got 6 of the best tonight. And anything else we can throw in the slightly shorter version tonight. I know some of you will probably have the football on in the background. Yeah, you can tell me the score. If there is a score to come, there will be goals tonight. I don't doubt that. But normally I do watch the England games, but I haven't watched much of this World Cup, to be honest. Doesn't seem right in the middle of winter, just before Christmas. But anyway... But as I say, I've timed it so I should be able to catch sort of the last 20 minutes of the game. And I thought, because to be fair, not everybody's into this football malarkey, as I can see here. So you've all joined me tonight, so that's great. Now, hopefully it's not snowing so much where you are, but as you can see, we've got a little blizzard going on outside. Took me ages to get that blooming candle going and all. That was damp. However, all adds to a source of heat. Let's see who's in the chat room this evening. And already, let me just do a scroll up and see. First in this evening, thank you, keep the likes coming. Anne Hunt, she said, what match? What match? Daniel Coburn, Daniel, glad you're with us tonight because we missed you last week, but it was great to see you at the social the other week. That was great. Mary Blake's here as well. Hi, Mary. And also greetings to Paul Glover, who is here tonight as well. I hope you're coming to some of you are going to get to the party on Wednesday night. Otherwise, I'm going to look very, very silly there with a silly hat on and a part of... Because I do fear about the numbers. Okay. Also, Dennis Perkins. Dennis, now, have you seen Dennis's book being publicised on the group? Yeah, Dennis. Nice one. Bit quiet from the Denny camp. I wonder why. Dennis says, I'm a man of action. Yeah, and he has. And he's bringing out his book, Burbage Childhood. Looks great. And as I say, you'll be seeing lots of little previews of it. And Dennis, and we wish you seriously all the best for your forthcoming publication on Mrs. G's birthday. He said, I thought I'd release it on Mrs. G's birthday. So that's very thoughtful of you, Den, absolutely. And he said he's bringing a small renter crowd with him on Wednesday night. Why don't you all bring your own little renter crowd so we can fill that room with Christmas joy Wednesday night? Please do. We need as many people to come as possible. Please, please do. Don't matter. Just bring them in. Just bring them in. We'll probably send the press gang round the town. Oi, you're going to a party? Am I? David Allen's here. Hi, David. And also Jan Kirby is here as well. Also going down the list, Alan Cropp said the best part, or the best half, of the Crops are here. So Maria's watching the football, is she? Makes me wonder. Ian Roberts is here. Robert Harrison. Hi, Rob. Glad you could join us this evening. I know you've been very, very busy, but it's nice when you just pop in and go, oh, hello. That's great. Cheers, mate. Kevin Beasley's here. Elaine Galloway, as always. And as we're saying here, Jan Kirby says, hi. Maria, I assume Alan's watching the game. As Mike Kirby ought to be here. Fancy watching the football over me. And here's me missing it all. Anyway, I shall plough on. Regardless, Jeff Wallace is here with, I don't know that Anna's with you this week. We saw Anna the other day, didn't we, Mrs. G, walking round town like a lost little sheep. So you're probably on your own tonight, Jeff. Hello to Queen Bee, and Carol Beasley's here as well. Carol Beasley, Paul said, I did wonder if you were missing the football, Paul. Paul Glover says, so it's still 0-0, so that's all we need to know tonight. Russett's here as well. And yes, and Mary Blake. Rather than come and have a good party, she's going to the theatre. Okay, fair enough. But you see, if we'd have put it later, we couldn't get the singer. And you don't want this voice singing and ruining your Christmas, trust me. Kevin Beasley. Goal. England 1, Senegal 0. Good. Yes, this is what we want. That's right. That's good. Thank you very much for that. Okay, I'm going to keep it a little bit shorter this evening. So first and foremost, let me just plough on one more time telling you about the party on Wednesday night. Everybody's welcome. Doesn't matter who they are, just throw them in. Please come along. There'll be entertainment and some nibbles and a lot of good fun and the 12 days of Christmas, the only way that HDPP know how. Have you been rehearsing your lines? That's Wednesday night, 7:30. Please come along because I have expressed a bit of concern about how the numbers aren't as grand as they used to be. And, of course, it won't be worth the effort otherwise. And I don't really want to say, let's not do the socials anymore. But we need more people. So come on, please come along. That'll be great. Now, so that's Wednesday night. Looking forward to that. In tonight, we've got 6 of the best. Are you ready? Have you got your pens and paper ready? I hope you have, because we're starting right now. Here we go with 6 of the best tonight. And if you've got your pens and papers ready, well, some we've used before, others we've recycled, and some are brand new. That's what it says here. So question number 1. Can you name the 3 woods around Burbage Common? Name the 3 woods around Burbage Common. That is a recycled question. Environmentally friendly, that's why we're using it again. So name the 3 woods around Burbage Common. That's all we want you to do for question number 1. Has anybody woke David Blower up yet, by the way? I haven't seen him coming to the room yet. Question number 2. Bit seasonal, actually. What is the masculine of goose? Goose. What's the masculine of goose? That's your general knowledge question. Question number 2 on this Sunday evening. Right, on to question number 3. Now, what year did the Hinckley Times start putting news stories on the front page? Another recycled question. Did you remember from last time? Was it 1982, 1983 or 1984 when all of a sudden, instead of the classifieds and stuff on the front of the Hinckley Times changed and we started to have, the headlines on the front? Yeah. Well, one of those is the correct answer, but do you know which one it was? Question number 4. A local knowledge. Now, in local folklore, which 60s singer was said to have lived locally? Now, think about this, ladies and gentlemen, because I know there's one you'll all be plumbing for, and I'm trying to help you here. It's probably not who you think it is, but it's a local folklore. Which 60s singer was said to have lived locally? And let's have a slope of water. We can all think of one. I know, but just have a think about it. Which 60s singer said to have lived locally? There's a story behind it as well. We will go. Let's see whether you plumb for the right one or not. That's all I shall say. There's a couple of candidates. Totally agree. There is 2 candidates, but will you get it? Question number 5. Where am I? Very easy tonight. I'm sure you'll all agree. That's where I am. Where am I? We'll give you the answer, of course, later. So just let you have a look at that. And if you're all ready and got your brains in gear, how about a haniogram? Yes, here's the haniogram. Answered plug hole theoretic. I love these anagrams. I think they're brilliant. So write that down first. Answered plug hole theoretic. And I will tell you, yes, of course, we're looking for a pub, but it is in Hinckley. Yeah, it is. It's a pub somewhere in Hinckley. Yes. And it's not an old pub. It's still going strong. So what do you think? Answered plug hole theoretic. Rearrange that. It'll give you the it'll give you the location where it is and the name of the pub. I can't be much fairer than that to say it's in Hinckley. So one more time, very quickly, over the questions one more time. Name the 3 woods around Burbage Common. Question 2, what is the masculine of a goose? Question 3, what year did the Hinckley Times start putting news stories on the front page? Question 4, in local folklore, which 60s singer was said to have lived locally? There are 2, but will you get the right one? Bit of a trick question, because you could plump for one and I'm going for the other, you see. So, hey, will you get it right? Well, you'll find out before the end of the programme. Question 5, where am I? Ooh, that looks official, doesn't it? That's question 5 and the anagram this evening. Answered plug hole theoretic. Rearrange that. You will get a pub in the town and the location. Simple as that. Keep the answers coming, but do not, whatever you do, do not post in this chat room, because people will nick your answers and then you won't be as clever as you think you were about of. All right. So that's it. That's 6 of the best this evening. Hope you good luck. Bit of good fun there. And there we go. Now, so yes, Jeff Wallace. Alone again, naturally. Poor old Jeff. Yes, he's alone there in Lincolnshire. Obviously, because we did see Anna yesterday morning. Thank you. We did see Anna as we were going through town the other morning, actually. So there we go. Right, okay then. Everybody's good, I'm pleased to say. So with that all done, and me plugging the party like mad on Wednesday night, nearly forgot then. Don't want to do that. And like I say, our singer of the night is Glyn. He's kindly offered to come and sing for us for Note, which is nice of Glyn to do that. So at the very least, come along, give your support. It'd be really, really nice. Just to fill the room for the night. Really appreciate that. I just hope to see you there. That's all I can say. Right, going to keep it short tonight. As I say, we've got a Noseh coming up as well. We've got a little feature now. As the anagram is all about a pub and stuff. Oh, Maureen Harris just popped in. Well done, Maureen, you're here. Are you coming for your prize draw present? Yeah. Yeah, you won in the raffle, as you know. And as the same goes for Elaine Galloway as well. Right. We still got them here, so they're quite safe. But if you happen to be coming to the party, or yeah, Maureen, Ray, come to the party on Wednesday night. I need as many people in there as I can honestly get. As I was just about to say, as it was that the anagram is a pub somewhere in the town, I thought let's get in the spirit of things a little bit, and let's all settle back and enjoy as we repeat one of my favourite ones actually. Hail the ale! Keep them likes coming, please. Oh, let's go and have a drink, shall we?
All hail the ale. When John Nichols wrote his groundbreaking history of Hinckley in 1782, he called the following piece of local verse ancient, even at that time. Higham on the hill, Stoke in the dale, Wykin for buttermilk and Hinckley for ale. Hinckley's reputation for ale making and imbibing of the golden nectar is not so far-fetched. To drink water in years gone by would have been to have courted all sorts of diseases, and it was commonplace to drink a weak beer known as sack. And sir, do you mean to stop any of William's wages for the sack he lost the other day at Hinckley Fair? Could Shakespeare have been alluding to the locally brewed ale when he penned these immortal lines mentioning Hinckley? It was later said that in Hinckley there were so many pubs that you did not have to spit more than 5 yards before you could enter another one. That is perhaps a slight exaggeration, but if one peruses the old directories for the 19th century, for instance, there do appear to be a large number of hostelries in the town. The best way to describe the old pubs of Hinckley would be to be in the company of local poet James Harold. He lived from 1772 to 1846. He was a gifted musician and choirmaster at St Mary's for upwards of 50 years. Although without a formal education, Harold was an accomplished violinist who would often travel around the area as an itinerant musician, playing his instrument and entertaining the frequenters of the local pubs. He was a composer of songs and verse. In particular, he wrote a poem in the early 1840s which ran to 12 verses and mentioned 49 pubs in the town. The poem was literally a pub crawl around the town at that time. He started at the old Holly Well, which is now the dental practice at the bottom of London Road. His first verse is penned thus. At Hinckley on a summer's day, I thought to have a spell, and for to have a glass of two, I went to the Holly Well. And for my drooping heart to cheer, to keep up with the lark, to have a drop of home-brewed beer, I called at the Noah's Ark. The first Holywell was a pub dating from 1835, but the current Holywell was built in 1921. The title of the pub commemorates a spring in Spa Lane that was dressed as a wayside shrine to the Virgin Mary and was built in 1755. The mention of home-brewed ale is interesting, for it alludes to the fact that there were a number of private brewhouses in the town with people making their own ale or sack. It was a family staple. The water was just too dangerous to drink. Hinckley's other poet of that period, Robert Heathcote, who is buried in St Mary's churchyard, in the second of his series in the Hinckley Lyrics, published in 1823, penned a piece called The Jug of Home-Brewed Ale, no doubt taking his inspiration from the ale brewed in Hinckley, in the vicinity of his home in the borough. But fill my glass with home-brewed ale, I care not if 'tis brown or pale, as long as it be clear and strong. As a source then of inspiration for both playwrights and poets, the importance in Hinckley of ale or beer cannot be understated. When you add to this the fact that Hinckley was the home of two famous brewers, William Bass and William Butler, then the place of ale in the town's history begins to take on a greater importance. William Bass, for instance, although his brewing career only spanned the last decade of his life, when he'd been based in Burton-upon-Trent for a number of years, had nevertheless carted the cider made by his mother when he lived in Hinckley around the area to willing customers and consumers. His meticulous accounts for that period, which still survive in the Bass Museum in Burton-on-Trent, are called the Cider Book. Talk of Bass and Burton naturally leads us to consider that most of the pubs in the town would have been affiliated to some brewery or other, mainly based in Burton-upon-Trent. Bass, of course, but also Edie's, Marston's and Worthington's. And then there were the West Midland breweries, Mitchell's and Butler's and Ansell's. There were local breweries also, such as Beardsmore's in Stockwell Head and Orcott's in the Borough. Much as today, one's preference for a brand of ale would draw you to a particular pub. If we return to our trusty guide, James Harold, his poem continues as he makes his way around the town. It will be interesting to know exactly where the Noah's Ark of his first verse was, for it has disappeared without trace. His second verse contains the following pub names: Cross Keys, Rose and Crown and the Crown and Anchor, and we know that these were all in Upper Castle Street. They're all mentioned in a directory of 1822. Were they all established around the same time within yards of each other? If you add the fact that the Golden Fleece and the New Inn were also close by, then literally you could have walked straight out of one pub into another. Castle Street at one time boasted 12 hostelries. No wonder then that it was said that when the corks from the barrels were thrown out into the street with the rubbish, that they were all washed down the street by rain, ending up in a pile along Rugby Road when the rain finished. The phenomenon gave rise to a place on Rugby Road known as Cork Hole. Although lots of pubs in Hinckley have disappeared through time, we can pinpoint their locations from old photographs and the names of the yards and jitties associated with them, such as Cross Keys Yard and Crown and Anchor Yard, that still exist today. In each of these yards there were numerous cottages where the framework knitters lived with their large families, a ready-made market for the pubs. Harold's list of pubs contains names long gone. His Majesty, the Roaring Lion, the Swan, the Nag's Head and the Ram Inn. The latter two were well-established drinking places, having both been first mentioned in 1809. The Falcon, the Mason's Arms, the Bull, the Bacchus, later known as the Jolly Bacchus, the White Hart Inn and the Globe, all mentioned by Harold, were in the vicinity of the marketplace. The old Globe had been around for most of the 18th century and was located on the corner of Church Walks and Station Road. It was noted for its tripe suppers. It was around the old medieval marketplace, now the marketplace and the borough, that Hinckley's oldest pubs were situated. The George, which was on the site of the present Bounty, was first established in 1671. The Bull's Head, which first stood where Barclays Bank is today, and later where the betting shop is today across the marketplace, dates from 1605. The Red Lion, which was in the borough, dated from 1695. All these three, in the very centre of the town, were coaching inns. Harold describes the George in the following words: "The George, a noble tavern, where gentlemen regale, to Chester and to London, there runs the Royal Mail." The Bull's Head provided the initial accommodation in Hinckley for George Canning, later to be Prime Minister. He brought his family to Hinckley by the Royal Mail stagecoach to seek medical care from the renowned physician Dr. Robert Cheshire. He described this pub as the vilest inn in the nastiest town, in the dirtiest country that imagination can conceive. Not an auspicious start for the man who was to make Hinckley and Burbage his home for the next 7 years. It's not surprising that two of the oldest pubs, the Union Inn and the Barley Sheaf, formerly the Barley Mow and now a restaurant, are just off the medieval core of the town. Both have cellars reputed to be older than the buildings above them. In what is now Stockwell Head, another of the older pubs, the Blazing Star, dating from 1745, was especially extended in 1753 by its landlord George Iliff to provide meeting and function rooms for dances and other social functions, as well as its general bar area. Further along Stockwell Head, according to Harold, were the Britannia, the Three Tons and the Plough. The latter pub was once known as a pensioners' club because it seemed to be a favourite watering hole for many military pensioners who lived in the town and who had fought with Wellington in the Peninsular Wars. It was thus the first ex-servicemen's club in the town. It is believed that there were more military pensioners in Hinckley than any equivalent town of its size at that time. Due to the date of Harold's poem, the 1840s, it misses out places that were built later. Pubs like the Half Moon in Stockwell Head were of quite a later date. My Aunt Gert Sheldon kept the Half Moon at one time. Her Irish wolfhound dog was a regular in the bar, and the drinkers were often disturbed when sitting at the bar, when the dog nuzzled up to them, its face appearing level with the bar, wanting to have a drink from their glasses. My uncle, Bill Mason, was also a pub landlord, this time at the Weaver's Arms, another of the pubs built too late for Harold's poem. Another aunt and uncle, Peter and Beryl Castle, ran an off-licence in Druid Street, always known to me as a child as the outdoor beer licence. Those were the days when the corner shop could apply for a licence to sell beer. I remember a single beer pump on the counter connected to a barrel of beer in the cellar. People brought their jugs in to be filled at lunchtimes and in the evenings. Many other local families have similar strong connections with the ale trade. Returning to James Harold, his journey around the pubs took him out in the direction of the wharf, where there was an industrial and agricultural feel to the pub names. The Horses and Wagon, the Harrow Inn, Woodbine Cottage, the Navigation and the Wharf. The Railway Inn would not appear until 1874, over 10 years since Hinckley had been connected to the rail network. The Wharf pub first appears in 1805, as soon as the Ashby Canal was opened. Hinckley Wharf was an important and busy inland port, and so to have two pubs serving the area was hardly surprising. Harold's odyssey around the town meanders to its end in Bond Street. He mentions the Horse, the Black Horse, and the Queen, the Queen's Head, before his final two verses bring him into Lower Bond Street, where he talks about the Lion, which was the White Lion, the Bell, which was the Blue Bell, the Barley Sheaf, the Duke of Rutland, and the Cap and Stocking. He might also have mentioned the Royal Oak, the Fox and Grapes, the Bishop Blaze and the Venison, which were all in that area. The Bishop Blaze was a half-timber cottage, much like the museum cottages are now on Lower Bond Street. Lest we should now be punch-drunk with all the pubs that Harold was able to name-check in his ramble around Hinckley, we must remember that there is a long list of pubs he missed out. Those that disappeared before he wrote his poem, and those that came after. For instance, the following had probably disappeared before his poem was written: the Lord Nelson, the Full Quart, the Dun Cow, the Spread Eagle and the Wood Boy. Those coming after Harold's time included the Lichfield Tavern, the Victoria Hotel, the Town Hall Arms, the Mineral Baths, the Ropemaker's Arms, the Shoulder of Mutton and the Bricklayer's Arms. The location of the Lord Nelson was in the borough, where Pickering's the printers and stationers once were. Apparently, the Lord Nelson was abandoned at one point and bricked up. Some enterprising young men attempted to break down the walls to see if there was any alcohol left abandoned for their free pleasure. However, the authorities intervened in their enterprise, and Muster Hollier, a court officer, lost no time in appropriating the hoard and sampling the contents thereof for himself. The location of many others of the pubs mentioned by Harold is not known. The reputation of the local hostelries often left a lot to be desired, and many were the worthies in the town who railed against the place having so many houses of ill repute and access to the demon drink. In 1840, the vicar of Hinckley, the Reverend George Dealty, described the pubs in Hinckley in these following words: "Many, many were very disorderly." Others noted with horror that under the influence of drink, one man sold his wife to another man in one of the pubs to pay off a debt. Pubs were notoriously hotbeds of betting, gambling, cockfights, dog baiting, fisticuffs, debauchery and drunkenness. What we've lost with the passing of those establishments are the noises and smells associated with brewing, the stale tobacco of pub interiors, stale beer and the smells from the stabling at the coaching inns. Some might say all for the better. The Hinckley Journal of the 7th of May 1859 records a lecture given at the Corn Exchange in the marketplace, which was entitled "The Evils of Intemperance," at which a number of persons took a no-drinking pledge. In the late 19th century, the Church of England set up the Victoria Coffee and Refreshment House in the marketplace as an exercise in temperance, where only non-alcoholic beverages were served. One of the fascinating aspects of all the pubs in Hinckley was the names given to them, and these names have their own type of heritage. Pubs had been required, since the year 1393, in the reign of Richard II, to have a sign marking them out, shown on the front of the buildings. As people could not read, the signs were very important, and the paintings on them created and sent a definite message. The White Hart, for instance, was a symbol of King Richard himself. The red line was the device of John of Gaunt. The White Horse was a symbol connected with the advent of the Hanoverian kings of the early 18th century. Names like the Royal Oak were connected with Charles II and his escape from the Battle of Worcester in 1651 by hiding in an oak tree. Other names like Golden Fleece denoted a connection with the wool trade. Some pubs in the town were named after personalities, like the aforementioned Lord Nelson, but also the Marquis of Granby. The latter was a military commander who was concerned that his demobilised troops should have a job and a living to go to. He bought his non-commissioned officers pubs in different parts of the country, including Hinckley. Some of the pub names had ancient origins. The Dun Cow, for instance, a pub in Castle Street, was named after a mythical beast, a large rampaging cow, especially known in Warwickshire just over the border. Its origins were Danish. Interesting because Hinckley was in part of the country known as Danelaw. Names like the Hollybush were a hark back to Roman times, when vegetation was placed outside of taverns to denote the business. Interestingly for this part of the world and our connections with national events, the Rose and Crown denoted the end of the War of the Roses. We are lucky that in a number of old photographs we can see both the exteriors and the interiors of all the old pubs, which gives some indication of the atmosphere within the bars and the snugs, sometimes no more than the length and breadth of an old front ruler. Hinckley has lost a great many of its pubs, but other pubs like the Pestle and Mortar and the Elbow Room are taking their place. How could the town at one time have supported so many pubs and it be possible for each landlord to have made some kind of living out of it? It seems incredible. Let's leave the last words to James Harold, our erstwhile guide, and his final verse. Now, to conclude my journey, I went to ring the bell. I hope each youth will follow truth and listen to the knell. Act well your part, each jovial soul, I earnestly exhort, for when the bell doth for us toll, there's nothing of the sort.
I'm in the mood for a drink now. And I had mine at dinner time, so I can't have any more. Yeah, it's just one of those regulars we do here at HDPP. You know, we've got some regular features, and it's like, I just enjoy watching them again, and I hope that you enjoy them in the same way. Yes, we've seen them before, but you said, oh yeah, I like this one. It's a bit like watching your favourite, hopefully for you, it's a bit like watching your favourite film. You know, you think, well, I've seen this about 3 million times, but, oh, go on, I'm going to sit and watch it again. I do, and hopefully you do so. Okay, then. Well, so far, so good. I'm told so far the score is still 2-0. I think it sounds like I've had a drink here. But, yeah, 2-0 in the match, so we'll see how we go. Okay, fingers crossed, looking good so far. Now then, some people late to the party, Pat Galloway, David Blower, and a few others. So we better go through 6 of the best one more time, so you can have a go. Already, Jan's got the anagram. Must be easy, Paul. And also, Queen Bee's got the anagram, and a couple of others have. Well done. Let's go through it one more time, so you can have a go and see how you can do with 6 of the best. Now, number 1, easy peasy. Name the 3 woods around a Burbage Common. Yes, name the 3 woods around Burbage Common. General knowledge. What is the masculine of goose? Yes, what is the masculine of goose? Question 3. What year did the Hinckley Times start putting news stories on their front page? Was it 82, 83 or 84? One of them is correct. I'll leave you to choose which one you like. Question number 4, local folklore. Now, this could be a tricky one, this. In local folklore, which 60s singer was said to have lived locally? Now, there is 2. Are you going to go for the one I'm thinking of? Or are you going to go for the other one? Trust me, there are 2, but there is one in mind because there is a story behind it which I shall reveal to you after I've given you the answer, if you know what I mean. So let's see which way you come down on that. So, well done. So question 4. In local folklore, which 60s singer was said to have lived locally? And I can definitely think of 2, but one has got a story behind. We'll see. Where am I? There we are. Pretty easy. I know a lot of you will get that. I haven't had a lot of time to put this one together this week. So, that's where I am. But where am I? Somewhere in Hinckley. There you go. And for those that missed it earlier, David Blower, the anagram Answered plug hole theoretic. You see, it's quite easy, really, when you know. Answered plug hole theoretic. Rearrange that. Gives you a pub. Maybe you've just seen the pub in our last feature. I hope you was paying attention. Because it was in there somewhere. Answered plug hole theoretic. Rearrange that. Gives you a pub in Hinckley. And it'll also give you its location. So, you see, I make them far, far too easy. That's our anagram for tonight, and hopefully you will get them right from there. Okay, well done. Okay, it's time to move on. And once again, just reminding those late to the party that our Christmas party on Wednesday. Please come. We need plenty of people there to make some good Christmas cheer and to make up the singing, particularly when we do the 12 days of Christmas. You all know it by now. We have the boards. We just need the singers to help us have a bit of a ball with Glyn Morley singing for us on Wednesday night. Free to come. We've got nibbles on the tables, and you can bring a bit your own if you really want to, because it's a tarty. So there we go. Now then, let's move on, because we've got a nosy now, and then when we come back, we'll give you the answer to tonight's 6 of the best. If it's snowing where you are, let me know. As you can see here in Hinckley behind me, oh my word, anyone thought it was a backdrop. It's time for a nosy with our Steve. I wonder where he's going today.
Hello, hey up and hey diddling, my name is Steve, and once again it's a great big warm welcome from myself to Let's Explore. Right, what you're looking at here, courtesy of the Cryche Parish History website in Derbyshire, is a fine selection of photographs of some really old, fantastic locomotives that ran on a George Stephenson designed railway that opened in 1841 in Cryche. And when the railway was constructed, it actually was a horse-drawn tramway that I think in around about 1880 they converted it to steam. But some amazing photographs. I feel really privileged to have been able to find these. It was actually Dave that sent them to me, to be honest with you. He found it first. But opening in 1841, of course, in the video I do say 1840, but it don't matter. As my mate Rob Beer says, I've got an obsession with 1840. We'll leave that there, do you know what I'm saying? But great little explore today, this one. And I actually planned to make this video 2 years ago, believe it or not. But I looked on the area at really old maps, and I found this old tunnel that we're going to look at today, and I thought I'd found something new. But I went onto YouTube, and somebody had actually recently made videos about the tunnel. There was 2 or 3 videos at the time, I think it was. So I thought I'll leave it and do it at a later date, but I didn't get round to it until now. But amazing explore today, which I'm hoping and I'm sure you'll actually enjoy, to be honest with you. Right, so courtesy of Rail Map Online, which is a fantastic resource, by the way, and I do encourage you to go and have a look at it if you're into your railways. What we're looking at in the centre of the screen there, you can see 2 green lines. They represent 2 really old industrial tramways. Now, it's the one on the left that we're looking at today that we've just spoken about. Now, very interestingly, the one on the right, that's the oldest of the 2. Of course, the one we're looking on, but the one on the right was 1793, and it was known as the Butterley Gang Road, that was designed by Benjamin Outram, a fantastic engineer of his time. And me, Dave and Rob actually came up to Fritchley, which is just south of Cryche, to explore this little area just after the winter last year, just before spring actually, but it was so cold I couldn't feel my hands or my face, so I never bothered with a video in the end. But we got talking to a chap who in his garden's got a portal that's buried, that's actually in the Guinness Book of World Records, has been recognised as the oldest steam railway tunnel in the world. It was a do you know what, I should have filmed it, to be honest, but I didn't in the end. But actually Paul and Rebecca Whitewick and Martin Zero actually interviewed this chap. He's a lovely bloke. We bumped into him actually by chance. We're having a nosy somewhere, and he was coming back from the shop with his newspaper, and I think he realised that we were railway enthusiasts, and he got talking to us. I can't remember his name now, to be honest. But this tramway, you know, It's very interesting for me because when I was at primary school, they actually took us on a day trip to Christ's Tramway Museum, which actually part of it sits on the tramway that we're looking at today. We don't go to the museum, but I've never forgot it. And so it's always been quite close to my heart, this area. I've never forgot that trip. Anyway, without any further ado, let's go and have a nosy. And guess who's with us today on today's video, eh? Everybody's favourite tribal elder. You heard it here first. Let's go for a nosy. Hello everybody, so here we are, we're back on site doing the really important stuff, the field work. Got some interesting things to look at today, and hey, here he is, look. Here they all are, look, Dave, here's all your fans.
Yes.
No one's interested in me anymore. Look, we want Dave, we want Dave,
Oh,
where he
give
bloody
over.
is.
Give over.
Hey, people keep recognising him round bloody Coville and what have
Now,
you,
they
don't
always
they?
ask me, they always say, Steve
Hey?
with you, is he in the car park?
Yeah, you heard it here first. But yeah, looking forward to this one, David. Got some interesting stuff to look at, haven't we?
Brilliant, yeah. Really looking forward to this tunnel.
Well, shall we stop banging on about it?
And let's go.
Let's go. Right, so his first port of call today is on the outskirts of this little piece of woodland at the side of that lane there, because just through here, see there, look, that is an old locomotive shed. Now, a very small shed. I mean, there wouldn't have been great big locomotives, would there? But, you know, this being built in around about 1841, this tramway, I think it was converted to steam by 1880. So quite late, really. So I'm assuming this was built then, but it could have had another purpose, maybe for horses. I really don't know. But from what I've gathered, you can't actually get in it. But let's have a mooch around it anyway, David. What say you?
Yeah, definitely. Certainly looks a fascinating structure.
Yes. I've seen a few people. Oh, bloody hell. Things you have to do. Of course, it's all overgrown now. The tramway was actually on this side, Dave.
All right.
Going up that side, so it'd be interesting to see if there's actually an old benchmark or something on here, you know, a surveyor's benchmark. Yeah. Might be. Beautiful old stone built building, look. Lovely. I mean, you can't get in it. There's a bit of a gap in the doorway here, Dave. I'll have to get my torch out and have a little gander, little peek in there. Oh no, it ain't it. There's a board on the inside, look, so you can't look in. So what is quite interesting about this, I don't know why it's here, but protruding out the wall is an old piece of railway track, look. In fact, there's two bits, look. I didn't see the second bit then. Look at that. So I wonder why they're in there, protruding out like that. Unless they go through the wall, obviously, into the inside, and they're holding something up in there. I really couldn't tell you, actually. Quite bizarre. Yeah, it's got a very interesting sloped roof on it as well. So, yeah, like I say, there weren't big engines that were running on this line when it was converted. It's quite an odd shaped structure, actually, isn't it? Like I say, that's the roof there, and it's sloping all the way down. It's only about 4 foot high there, maybe a bit more, actually. There's a bit of, a load of leaves and vegetation over the years rotted away at the back of it and built the back of it up. So yeah, very interesting that. And speaking of very interesting things, just take a look at this photograph here then. Now, once again, courtesy of the Christ's Parish Histories website. And all these old photographs, by the way, are going to be from that website, just letting you know that. But this one's been colourised. Now, what's very interesting, of course, the railway opened in 1841. But it had a really long life, this railway, you know. It didn't close until the 1950s, so they got rid of an awful lot of mineral in that time in the area at Christ's. But just take a look at this. You know, you've got this chap sitting in one of these wagons here, looking back at the camera with his flat cap on. Just in front of him, you've got what looks like a really old diesel loco, a small one at that. Fantastic old piece of kit. But now look a bit closer. In front of that locomotive, you've got a building. Now, that is the building that we've just been looking at. Isn't that something else, eh? Fantastic. Right then, to me and everybody's favourite tribal elder, we're just on his way to find this tunnel, aren't we? And I've just said, hey up, the tramway crossed the road at this point. The locomotive shed's just up there on the outskirts of them trees. Look at this, look. So, locomotive shed through there, tramway. And look at this, look. I walked over it initially. Now, for me, there are still rails beneath this tarmac because you can make it out there, look, you see it? And just about on this side, hold on, where is it? There, look. So underneath here, the crossing is still there. And there you have it. There's our fantastic level crossing back in the day when it was a working railway. And that's a beautiful little locomotive. I'm sure it's a diesel loco actually. And that's actually pulling them wagons, reversing towards the tunnel that we're going to look at shortly in the video. But this is actually come past that little engine shed that we've just been looking at. And if you look closely at the back of the train there, you can see a chap sitting on the wagon again. So yeah, brilliant bit of detail that. Now, David, guess now what it's time for.
I'm not sure.
Well, it's tunnel o'clock, isn't it?
Oh, tunnel o'clock, yes.
Gotta go find this tunnel, haven't we?
Yes, we're going underground, hopefully. We're
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
look for a tunnel designed and built by George Stephenson.
Sing that again.
Going underground.
I was going to say come and join us. I've got a gig tonight, but on that evidence, no. I don't think we'll...
Oh, thanks, Steve. Yeah, we're going underground now, looking for a tunnel.
Yeah, we certainly are. Right. Tell you what, I'm hungry as well, Dave. Yeah. Do you know what? I couldn't half murder a Melvin Cobb.
Yeah, we've got a Melvin Cobb.
Yeah, yeah.
And a cup of normal tea.
Yeah.
None of that crappy red bush tea, Marion, if you're listening.
I've got a story to tell you about that red bush tea, but we'll save that for the tunnel. Right.
I know the story.
Yeah, and don't I can never get over it. I can still taste it now. Right then, so time for his next port of call, this fantastic little railway tunnel that opened in 1841 and designed by the great man himself, George Stephenson. Now, this ain't the only tunnel on this railway. There's another one to the north of this at Cryche that's actually at the back of someone's garden. Now, Paul and Rebecca Whitewick and Martin Zero made a video and actually went in this tunnel and went into the one in this back garden, which you can't actually go in, but it's been blocked up and there's a little gap in the stonework, and they actually got to stick the camera for it. It was a good video actually, I really enjoyed it. But this tunnel that we're going to look at, a lot of people that look at this, including myself now, are a bit bamboozled. We don't know why it's there, and I don't know why it's there, to be honest with you. It's a very short tunnel. In the video I get a bit carried away and say it's about 90 yards long. It's not. It's shorter than that, probably about 40 or 50 yards, to be honest with you. But I don't know why it's there. It's not deep below the ground either, so it's a cut and fill in my opinion. And so I don't know why they just didn't have a railway cut in there instead of a tunnel. Now, as you can see from this Ordnance Survey map, there's no path or track on top of it either, because at the time I did think maybe that's why the tunnel's there. And if you look to the immediate south of this tunnel, you can just about make out a little black dot slap bang in the centre of the railway line there. Now, that is a massive winding drum that sits at the top of a very steep 1 in 4 incline that, to be quite honest with you, makes the Leicester and Swannington incline look flat. But we've actually got some amazing photographs to show you of this as well. It's extraordinary, to be honest with you, to say the least. Anyway, without any further ado, let's go and find this tunnel and have a nosy. Right, so here we are then. Now, this is the northern portal. I thought it was the southern portal that you get in. Now, we have, by the looks of it, we've got to go underneath the fence. We won't be damaging or breaking anything. We're not into that, you know that. But look at that. So there's the top of the portal there. So, but why is this tunnel here, Dave?
Obviously the tramway went this,
Yeah.
But
It's
the
not-
importance of it being George Stephenson again.
Yeah, but I can't work. I've heard it said on other videos, people couldn't work out why there's a tunnel here. I can't really see.
No.
I'm missing something. I really don't know, but
We all are.
the incline's that side, I think. So let's get in here anyway. Right, so the things we do for your entertainment, I tell you what, many years ago, I was very fat, and I still am a bit podgy, so you would not have got me underneath here. It's tight. So yeah, this is the way forward, folks. Right, come on then, David.
The things we do.
I know. Should be easier for you, you ain't as big as me. Look at that.
Saturday morning.
We love it though, don't we?
Oh,
This is where it's at, Dave. Not stuck in front of the telly. Right, shall we? Be rude not to, wouldn't it?
Yep.
Let's go and have a nosy. 1840, I think. And if my mate Rob Beers is watching, yes, 1840. I can't help when things are built. I can't.
Yeah, Rob, listen to us, 1840.
So if you recorded a birth, right, and put it in reverse, this is what it looked like, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Without the mess.
Ooh, can you imagine? God, I am a woman, mate. They are hard doing all that. I've witnessed it twice with my two beautiful kids.
And Noseh still looks good after it.
Oh, she does. I can't fault her. Can't fault her. Right. Ooh, lovely. Right, so we entered the tunnel just there, and you can see it was blocked off, look, with stone back whenever. But we've got a bit of rubbish down here, so you always find a bit of rubbish. You even got an old car door there, look. I don't know how old that is, but like I say, it's not a long tunnel. Why this tunnel is here, I don't know. I mean, for me, there's not really any reason for it to be here. I mean, I've seen a couple of videos about it, you know, and it's actually bigger than I thought it was going to be in real life. It's an amazing tunnel. You can see the construction line there, look, just before it starts curving, where they'd have put the carpentry to build this beautiful arch on the top. But it's not a long tunnel. You can see daylight up there. It's not long at all. But the amazing thing about this is, and this is something I've never ever seen before in a tunnel, old sleepers there, look. I have seen those before. You can see where the sleepers have been ripped out, actually. You can see the ridges. I've never seen this. Is there? Well, this, as you can see, it's on 2 levels, look. I have never ever seen that in my life. Now, I know at the other end of this tunnel, there was some sort of mechanism, a large barrel that George Stephenson designed, apparently. And it actually brought the wagons up the steep incline. And I'm wondering if these 2 levels here are to do with the incline. I've not read that, by the way. It's just I'm just theorising. I might be totally wrong. But why would you have 2 levels like this in a tunnel? I just don't. I've never seen anything like it. It's fantastic. I tell you what, mate, you're going to get some amazing photos in here.
Let's have something to eat and drink. We've got a cup of tea.
Yeah, yeah.
And we'll
Amazing, absolutely amazing what there is left. Right beneath your feet. In our beautiful land.
Yeah.
Tell you what, David, I'm starving.
Yeah. So am I. Well, we've got tea. Roast beef cobs for Melvin.
Melvin Cobbs, 99p.
99p.
Beef.
Beef,
Can't be
bargain.
bad. This is brilliant. In a tunnel,
Yeah.
on a Saturday morning in Derbyshire. And it's dry. It's dry in here, apart from bits of water,
Yeah.
you know, water falling through here and there. It's fantastic. But Dave's brought the tea. Now, I'll tell you a little story about Dave and his tea, shall I? Yeah. Last time I had his tea, you know, him and Marion, him and Mazza drink this brand called Red Bush. Other brands are available. It's all right. It's not quite my cup of tea. Pardon the pun. But we went up to his caravan, me, Dave and Rare Rob. Anyway, he made this tea and I thought, this has got a bit of a twang to it, this had. Oh, Mazza, she goes in the caravan. She says, Dave, you're getting tea that's gone off, milk that's gone off. I could have spat it out. I felt sick after that. So, yeah, so...
And I turned around and says, I thought it tasted a bit odd.
So, am I getting cheese, Dave, this time, or is it going to be tea?
It's tea, but it's not very hot.
Isn't it?
No, I'm surprised at that.
Yeah, it's all right, yeah.
It's all right, yeah. We make party in the park completely different. We're having a party in the tunnel. How many people do this?
No. I love it, though, Dave. It's what life's about, getting out, you know, and...
It's been in the history. We're sitting somewhere, what, George Stephenson. Not sunglasses on or Paddy the Greek. George Stephenson, built and designed.
Amazing.
And we're here, eating a beef cob,
Yeah.
drinking tea.
Yeah, well,
He'll be turning in his grave. Why are you working, lads? Isn't it?
But it's... Right then, so now it's time to show you some of Dave's photos, but before I show you the rest of them, I just want to show you this one, because of course it's quite confusing as to why you've got that high level track on the right. But, and I might be wrong, I've not read this anywhere, this is just my theory, so bear with me. Now, look at the left-hand side track level. Immediately above, you can see a soot line, so that's clearly where the steam locos were running. And there won't be much clearance for them on the right if they're on that side. But I think I know what's going on now. Cast your minds back to the level crossing photograph. That little diesel loco was actually reversing. It was pulling the actually pulling the loaded limestone wagons up to this tunnel. Now, I think what's going on here is the actual wagons that were going to go down to the that were going to go down the incline that were full. I think they were going on this raised level, and I think that was because you're going to see the winding drum after these photographs, and that sits above the railway line horizontally. It's fascinating, to be honest with you. So I think the trains were bringing them up to the northern portal, and the track would have been going two ways on the lower and upper level. Those wagons were going on the upper level, and then the train would reverse back to the southern portal and pick the empties up at that end and then take them back to the quarry. I think that's what was happening. I might be wrong, but we'll go with that for now, shall we? Let me know what you think in the comments. I really enjoyed that. Oh, my bag's caught. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Breakfast in a tunnel.
Not just a tunnel, George Stephenson's tunnel.
Yeah, amazing stuff. It just shows you what's hidden beneath your feet. I mean, a lot of people do know about this tunnel, I think, that walk around here, but nationally you won't. I mean, there has been videos made of it. This is going to be another video, of course. Oh.
This is our video, Steve.
But yeah, beautiful arch that, isn't it, Dave?
Absolutely fantastic, as I say. It goes right in, the stone.
And this would have been, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very confident in saying that this would have been a cut and fill tunnel. So they didn't tunnel it from within. They cut the earth out prior and then built it. Why this tunnel's here, I'm not really sure, if I'm honest. For me, with how the land lies here, you'd have just thought there'd been a continuous cut in here, but maybe something was going off on top of here in 1840 when it was built. I don't know. That's all I can tell you, but we've now got to get ourselves, as fat arses, beneath there, David.
Yep.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. We're in prison.
Yeah, I'm breaking out.
Break it out. Here we go.
Yeah, really enjoyed that. What's your head? What's your ear?
I've had our balls up at that, haven't I?
Yeah, and you're going to get a rollicking off Mazza and all when she watches this. You're a bit arse about face, ain't you? You made a right pig's ear of that, ain't you?
I did, didn't I? Should be used to this by now.
Well, yeah.
Let's see the master at work then.
Well, yeah, the master.
Look, there's only a small gap.
What are you trying to say?
Hey, look at this. We've done this before. If anyone wants any info how to escape from prison, let's explore.
Yeah. Police are going to be on the phone next. A load of convicts escaped from a local prison.
Well done,
Right.
Stevie, buddy.
Love it.
What a fantastic explore.
Amazing stuff, David. Right. Right then, so do you want to see something fantastic? Of course you do. What a stupid question, my lad. Right then, now what you're looking at here is the southern portal of this beautiful little tunnel. And as you can see, there's a bit of a stanchion there, isn't there? You know, in front of the tunnel, can you see it? It looks like a stone stanchion, don't it? Now that is where this magnificent drum used to sit. It used to sit horizontal. And what an amazing bit of kit it was. Now, just before I show it you can see like a bit of wood or something going across at the top. Now, that stonework that goes into, you can actually still see the top of that. But all this cutting here that you can see, it's all now been filled in. Just take a look at this, what it used to look like. Wow, so there you have it. Absolutely fantastic. And I'm not going to say this is the original winding drum that George Stephenson designed. He did design one when it opened in 1841, but it might be a new one. I'm not entirely sure. It does indeed look old, and I assume this was taken in the 50s. I assume this was taken shortly before the previous photograph when it was all demolished and then filled in. The cutting was filled in, of course. But as you can clearly see there, you've got two sets of rails that go beneath. Now, for me, the locomotives were pretty much reversing up to this contraption on the other side between this and the tunnel, because I don't think they'd have got underneath it by the looks of it. The wagons certainly were going underneath it, and they were being joined up with wagons and taking the empties up to the back up to Cryche Quarry there. But the one on the right, of course, is where the raised platform would have been in the tunnel, and I think that's something to do with bringing those wagons through there. I might be completely wrong, it's just a theory, but you know, why would you have that raised platform? Absolutely incredible, to say the least. And if you look very carefully with your eagle eyes at this colourised picture of this winding drum, you could just see there in the centre of the bottom of the screen a wagon on the right hand side coming from that raised platform within the tunnel. I promised you an incline. No, so this is amazing. So this is a few yards away, about 200 yards away from the southern portal of the tunnel, and I mean this makes the Swannington incline look like level ground. I mean the Swannington incline in northwest Leicestershire is a 1 in 17 gradient, so that means it rises a metre every 17 metres, in case you weren't sure on that. This, I'm not certain, I think this is a 1 in 4, I think it is. I did read it somewhere yesterday, but I had a few sherbets at the time. I think it's a 1 in 4. It makes sense for me. This looks like it's rising a metre every 4 metres, absolutely. And I think you can pretty much tell on the camera angle just how it falls away down the hill here towards where it used to go to the Cromford Canal, just down at Ambergate, I think they call it. But absolutely amazing, David. Anyway, David, you need to be here because we're doing the outro. I want to see you running up here. The eye of the tiger. But yeah, we're going to leave it here, folks. Really enjoyed that today. I hope you did. I tell you what, a Melvin cob has never tasted so good.
99p, bargain.
Standard Hill Stores, Uggleskut. You heard it here first.
Well done, Melvin.
Me and Melvin are going halves. 61% in my favour.
We can't work the other one out yet.
No, I can't. I'll get back to you on that. 70-30 in my favour. How's that? We've gone halves. Yeah. There you are. Anyway, really enjoyed that. Hope you did too. Please like, subscribe and share it. And there's been a lot more of you liking the videos, the last 2 videos I've done. The last one I've done, it's had 700 odd views and it's had well over 100 likes now. That's fantastic. It helps other people find them. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, anything else to add, David?
Yeah, it gives us encouragement to come out and do more things for you guys, you know.
Well, we want to see this stuff personally. I mean, if I didn't make these videos, I'd be out doing this stuff as he was when I met him.
Yeah.
He weren't making videos, were you? Well, you were actually. You were doing them walks, weren't you?
I was doing the walks, yeah.
But, you know, I love to show this stuff to people that might not know it was here. And to be fair, some of you may not want to treps up and down places like this. This is, I tell you what, if you had a few beers, Dave, come down here and tripped up, you'd roll all the way to the bottom, well, like a bowling ball.
This is incredible. If we've got a lot of snow around here, I'll come up here with a sledge and go bombing down there.
Yeah, yeah, well, we'll leave that to you. Yeah.
It'll be awesome.
Anyway, thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Have a good weekend, folks.
And I'll see you again. Bye-bye.
What a fascinating Noseh. Absolutely, and I don't think Steve's with us this evening, but that was really, really fascinating. That really super. That's one to repeat at some time. I'm sure you'll all agree. Right, well, there we go. We've had our Noseh. England's up 3-0. Things are looking good in the garden, and it's now time to give you the answer, of course, to 6 of the best this evening. How are we doing? How are we doing? Right, I'm going to go through one question at a time and ask you to put your answers up. Let's see if you get them right. So, here we go. And we start with question number 1. Okay then, name the 3 woods around Burbage Common. So that's our first question this evening. What I'm going to do now is wait for the answer to appear on the screen as I'm looking at it, see who's going to answer. It is pretty easy actually, to be totally fair. The 3 woods around Burbage Common. The first person in with the answer tonight is... no one's answered it yet. Wait a minute. This is called filling. Right then. Jan Kirby. Sheeper, Burbage, Smither. Well, actually, I was looking... Well, you're almost there. Actually, Maureen Harris. Burbage Wood, Sheepy Wood, and Aston Firs. That's what I was looking for. So give yourself a point for Burbage Wood, Sheepy Wood, and Aston Firs. There we go. Right, moving on to our next one. What is the masculine of goose? Goose. What's the masculine of it? I'm sure somebody will soon know because we often use it in our daily slang. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Now then. Let's see who comes up with this one. The masculine of goose, and the first answer to go. Yeah, Jan Kirby. A gander. Give us a ganders. Yeah, gander. Yeah. Let me have a gander at that. What's that all about? But it's good. Well done. Gander. Question number 3. Now, what year did the Hinckley Times start putting news stories on the front page? 82, 83 or 84? Who's going to get the correct year first? One of them is the correct year. Do you remember? Okay, let's just wait and just say I'm just waiting for the answers to appear on the screen. Jan Kirby's correct with 1982. Maureen Harris correct, 1982. Dennis Perkins correct with 82. Well done. I think we can all decide quite nicely. It was 1982. Absolutely correct. Well done indeed. Now, this is the tricky one. Oh, and well done, Paul Glover, as well. Yes. Daniel Coburn, I was born in 82, my word. Right, the local folklore. Which 60s singer was said to have lived locally? Now, I'm going to see who's going to put the right answer up here, and then I'll give you the story. There is two candidates. One, which I will explain in a moment. Right. Maureen Harris, Don Partridge. That's the one I thought people would go for, and it's not the one I'm looking for, and I will explain why in just a moment. Jan Kirby, don't know this one. Okay, no problem. Let me give you the story. I thought a lot of you would say, indeed, Don Partridge. A lot of people say Don Partridge, which that's not the answer I'm looking for. Yes, Don Partridge did live locally, but Anne Hunt is on the money. Phil Oakey or Scott McKenzie? Well, Scott McKenzie is the name I was looking for. Now, here comes the story. Well done, Maureen. It also says Scott McKenzie. Scott McKenzie, you remember the song, If You're Going to San Francisco? That one. Well, now then, Scott McKenzie did not live locally, but a guy with the same name lived locally. And he often used to tell people, now see, it's folklore. That's why I use the term folklore. So he told people, oh, yes, Scott McKenzie. And people said, oh, San Francisco. And he went along with it. The Scott McKenzie that lived locally was not the same Scott McKenzie that had the big hit. So the folklore is correct as far as Scott McKenzie lived locally, but it wasn't the Scott McKenzie. Have you got it? You understand? So there you go. But I knew you'd probably go for Don Partridge, but I was looking for Scott McKenzie, who, like I say, live locally, but not the Scott McKenzie. Right? Moving on. Where am I? That's easy enough. Come on, pile. You can pile your answers in now to tell me where am I. It is easy. We've used this building before, actually, and I'm sure that you are going to get that in straight away. And in fact, while I'm waiting for that, I'm just getting the answer to come in. Just getting my full picture. And Jan Kirby says, it's like our MP Luke Evans, a.k.a. Luke Evans, the singer and actor. Very true. That's very true. Right. Now then, Carol's way ahead of herself. Carol, you're drinking too much. We haven't got to that question yet. There's always one. If it's not Jan, it's someone. Yeah. Carol, are you ahead of us? Carol is obviously 2 minutes ahead. Wonderful. Jan Kirby, Worklink. Yes, it's the Worklink office. Is Ollier's Walk, a.k.a. the old job centre, as it was all those years ago. And if you don't believe me, I did have the answer here somewhere. Where am I? Here. There we are. That's where we were. Look, Amity House. But actually it was the old Ministry of Employment. I know. So, Carol, I'm sorry. Oh, bless you. Yeah. Anyway, okay then. Carol, what's the anagram then? Answered plug hole theoretic. Answered plug hole theoretic. Yes. Now Carol's, she's playing catch up now. Now she's put the answers in. I wonder how many drinks have been consumed tonight. Yes, I do. Yeah, I do wonder. But anyway, so the answer to the answer to the anagram of answered, plug, or theoretic is the new plough in Leicester Road. Carol was in first. She was in before we put it out there, but yeah, that's correct, yeah. The new plough in Leicester Road, that's exactly it, yeah. Carol Veazey. I only got one today. Let's have your scores then, ladies and gentlemen. How many from 6 of the best tonight can you count up? And still a few, there's still a few just coming in. Yeah, that's it. Kevin Beasley, 3 tonight. I've got 3 tonight. Well done, Kevin. And still say some of the answers coming in saying new plough, the plough. But you got the idea. Right, 5 out of 6 for Paul Glover. Can we beat that? 4, says Carol Beasley. 4 for me, not bad, says Jeff Wallace. Yeah, absolutely. Daniel Coburn, 4. Anne Hunt, 3. Yeah. Anybody else go? Paul Glover so far is sitting there pretty with 5 out of 6. Maureen comes up with a 5. Dennis with a 4. Jan, 4, nearly 5. Only Jan can do that. Alan, Marie Crop says 4 tonight. Yes, okay. The singer got me. Ah, dear. Yeah, well done. So it looks like Paul Glover and a couple of Maureen and co. Just getting in with 5. So no one with actually 6 tonight. Okay, no problem. You did all well. Did you do well? I think. And Queen Bee's got 4. So I think everybody, generally speaking, deserves a little clap tonight. Well done. Well done. And look, once again, next Sunday night we'll be here doing this all again. Now, let me just once again remind you of the importance of trying to attend our party on Wednesday. My days are all over the place, as you can probably imagine at the moment. But anyway, Dennis Perkins, John Denny would have got 6. Well, he should have tuned in, shouldn't he? That's what I say. Mind you, maybe John is finally getting his book sorted. Is it true that John Denny is getting his book sorted? Doubt it. Anyway, maybe Dennis, you're fritting because you're coming out with your book. You only started it a couple of months ago and you're in print, so well done. Yeah. And Russet's saying, look, Denny, but he should be doing his book. Exactly it. So if John Denny watches this later... that's all I can say. So, as I was saying, we'll be back on Sunday night, but please, if you can, please, come along on Wednesday night. Make an old man very happy and come just spend just a couple of hours with us. It's usually all done and dusted for 9:30, so, you know, all is pretty good. It's great to see you, and I love meeting you all. Ultimately, it's your party because you've done the fundraising, you've put the money in the raffles and supported our draws. This is your night to come along and enjoy it with your friends. Now, I do know some people have sent notes in to say, Dear Paul, please excuse myself from coming to the party. I'll have to accept that, but come on. We always have a party at Christmas time. I'd love to see you there. So, anyway, having said that, yeah, we're looking. Oh yes, Jan says, see you all in Wednesday. We were promoting the evening to people in the church yesterday. Thank you, Jan. Brilliant. Yeah, great. Thank you to everybody. Absolutely superb. And as I say, we'll be back on Sunday night. Hope to see you Wednesday night. Looking forward to that. And until then, take care of yourself. Good night.
Michael Wright.
Oh, hello. Sorry about that. I suddenly thought, I'm going to type something, and of course, I weren't. My cursor wasn't in the correct box, hence another film started. Welcome back to this part of the programme, which we have a little chortle, we have a bit of a laugh, and that's got to be a good thing. And I thought you might like this, but before I do, got something to show you, which I totally forgot about in my excitement about the tarty on Wednesday night. Hang on. One of the prizes is here. And I've got to be careful. Specially made for the tarty, this gingerbread house made by our Joan Walker, who sadly will be she'll be away on Wednesday night, but she's had that book for a while. She's made this lovely gingerbread house, one of our lovely prizes for Wednesday. So come along. You could be taking this home with you. It's also environmentally friendly. It's got double glazing and the loft is also insulated in it. So it meets all standards. It's lovely, honestly, it really is. Let me just put it down front. I'm fret of breaking it. Just a minute. Done. Now, it's beautiful. You could win it. It's the raffle prize on, like I say, on Wednesday. Now then. Here we go. Are you ready for a little laugh to send you to bed? I like this one. Right. A few dad jokes. I'm ready if you're ready. I am. Right. I realised I was dyslexic when I went to a toga party dressed as a goat. Oh, I thought it was okay. I was walking along the streets of Glasgow the other week and I saw this sign. This door is alarmed. And I said to myself, how do you think I feel? And I like this one. These are new. Some of these are new. British scientists have demonstrated that cigarettes can harm your children. Fair enough. Use an ashtray. Here's another one. Elevators terrify me. I'm taking steps to avoid them. Let's find another one. Just a minute. I got onto a flight with 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9. The odds were against me. I love it. I decided I wanted a pet termite. I'm going to call him Clint. Clint eats wood. Yes, it's a good one. You like that one? I can see you like that. My wife blocked me on Facebook because I post too many bird puns. Well, two can play that game. I like this one. I just read this one. Did you hear about the new origami porn channel? It's pay-per-view only. I'm going to save the rest. I'll save the rest till later. I enjoyed that one. That was good. You want one more? One more. Right now, blah, blah. Let's just see what now. Here's one to go out with. All being well. I was really angry when I ran into my friend Mark, who had stole my dictionary. I said, mark my words. It's a good one. See you Wednesday. If not, back here on Sunday night. Bye-bye.